Hey there, you wonderful listeners. I have a question for you. Do you want to make a podcast? Well, Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily and then distribute it everywhere and even earn money all in one place and for free. How can you beat that? It's called Spotify for Podcasters. And here is how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify. And when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, there are Q&A and poll options available, and those are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. Ever since I've discovered Spotify for Podcasters, it has made doing my shows like the Steam Machine Podcast, Yabs Pod, and the JRPG Report much, much easier to do. Like being able to just go on there, record them, upload it, boom, it's done. I don't have to pay for a site service to host or anything like that. It's fantastic. So I highly recommend that you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me, as always, is my good buddy.
This is Ryan.
And this week, my black little heart sings a goth song because it is October, it is almost Halloween. We have been playing these scary games, and finally we are playing something right up my alley. Not so much your alley, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
First and foremost, how you doing, buddy? I haven't talked to you much this week.
No, been back to work, which is super stressful with their whole COVID thing going on.
Yeah, plus the new baby, man. You got work cut out for you for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, not much new going on or anything like that.
Yeah.
Added a couple games to our list that were part of the Sega Anniversary Steam special.
No, I think I grabbed one of those, and there's two more that I need to get. But what all did you grab?
I don't remember what games they were. I just scrolled through them all, and the ones that said free, I just added to download.
I feel like I remember Sonic 2 was one of them.
Yeah, Sonic 2 was one of them. Then there was like a side-scrolling beat 'em up.
That game is based. It's like Streets of Rage 2 and the Yakuza series mixed. I'm not 100% more sure about it. Like that's what I know. And then I didn't know there was a third one, so I'll have to go look today. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Was it Nights into Dreams?
I think so. Or yeah. I don't know.
It was one of those types of games, but I had already had that one. But yeah. Dude, well, that's on our list, and that is like a cult classic. I think it came out for Dreamcast. I want to say it was a Dreamcast game. I never had a Dreamcast, so
yeah.
And the only game I ever played,
I never had one either.
The only game I ever played on a Dreamcast was Mortal Kombat Gold, and it was pretty sweet. God, that seems like forever ago now. It probably was, to be honest with you. Yeah, man. I dove a little further into Serious Sam 4.
Did you?
And I'm going to have to get you to watch me play on Discord sometime soon because, bro, it looks so much like the Talos Principle. when you're in the Egypt part.
Oh my goodness.
It's
Golden
awesome.
Axe, a canceled prototype.
Nice.
I'm looking at the Sega thing on Steam, and it's just... They have a lot more games for free now, it looks like. Or no, those are bundle packs, it looks like. But, yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Serious Sam 4 looks ridiculous. It looks a lot like the Talos Principle. You can tell that they were using the Talos Principle as like a building block to get to Serious Sam 4.
Yeah.
And what a fucking building block.
Didn't we read into that when we played the Talos Principle that they were using that as like a test for the engine for
Yep.
4. Yeah. So I remember watching you play that opening sequence, and next time you load it up again, let me know so I can watch that, because my laptop will not run it. Like,
It's pretty sweet. No, but luckily for you, there are a few other Serious Sam games that I have that are older games that'll run just fine.
yeah,
Like that's a really good series to me. Like it's a good fast-paced shooter.
it is.
It's fantastic.
I really enjoyed the first one.
Yeah, the first encounter.
Played. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for 2, 3, and then when I build my PC, number 4.
And what's interesting is actually there's another game, because there's the first encounter, and then there's the second encounter, and then there's Serious Sam 2, and then there's Serious Sam 3.
Oh shit.
It'll be fun, man. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So I do know. Did you find that yet, or are you just kind of scrolling through and looking?
I'm just scrolling and looking right now.
I think that those were the 3. I think it was Sonic 2, the Yakuza beat 'em up, and Nights into Dreams.
Right now, let's see. They have Streets of Kamurocho.
Yep, that's
which looks like to beat 'em up.
Yep.
Endless Zone. Armor of Heroes. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Items for 2 Point Hospital, and then Total War Shogun 2 is free to play right now.
Wow. Total War is a cool series.
They keep adding stuff, and then they added the Golden Axe, a canceled prototype mini game, for free as well.
Well, that's pretty sweet.
Right.
I think I have Total War Shogun 1. But I could be wrong. I'm looking at it now. Oh, okay, no. That Total War Shogun 2 is a DLC that they're doing for free.
Is it? Gotcha.
Okay. I was about to say, because that's pretty sweet if they're giving away that whole ass game.
Right.
That's I think it's real-time strategy. It's good stuff.
Shit.
So this week you got to play a game that I have been putting a lot of time into lately, and that is Among Us.
Yeah.
And I have been playing in the Tadpog Discord, which is Tadpog, Tyler and Dave Play Old Games, great podcast. Everybody should check them out. Love those guys. They in their Discord we have a Game Buds. It's what it's called. And every Thursday about 10 p.m. or so Eastern time, we get together and play some Among Us. And sometimes we play till midnight. Sometimes we play till 3 in the morning. One night that I didn't join them, they played till 7 a.m. here.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it can get it's really fun, man, when you get a good group of them together. Give them a quick shout out. There's like me, Grim, Zal, Turtle Bear, Ice Brand, Lady Grim played the other day. There's Indie Cat, Sus John. I don't know, and I'm gonna forget some names, but all of those guys, like and the lady that we play with, man, it's so much fun. And I don't think that you've had a group yet like that. You've just been playing random matches, right?
Yeah, I just been playing random matches.
So with the random matches, I do believe that most of your discussion goes on in text, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, when we do it, we are able to have the Discord voice channel and then kind of grill each other as we play. It's a really good time, man. Hopefully one day you'll have off and you'll be able to pop in with us, even if it's just for a few games.
Yeah, I think there's only 5 weeks left till the end of the semesters, and then I'm on winter break until who knows when.
Woo!
But, yeah, we'll have lots of time for that.
For sure. So, have you been the imposter yet, or have you just been? No.
Nope. I've only done 2 games. Won the first game because all the tasks got completed. I think.
Nice.
And then the second game, I was down to the final 4 before I got voted off.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you get like talked into a corner, and even if it's not you, you're like, I'm
still trying to figure the game out. The first game I played, I figured out tasks at like the very end of the game. I think I only had like one, but the second game I knew to race around and look for the different tasks to complete and shit. And then whoever the killer was in that game took their sweet ass time killing people. Like,
hey man, sometimes that's better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
You know, if people group up, it's kind of hard to kill them.
Yeah.
I will tell you about one epic kill that I had. We were in the room where you have to swipe your admin card. Have you had to do that yet? The admin room?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was in there, and Indy Cat was the other killer. And he was standing there pretending to do a task, and I was running through, and somebody, I don't remember exactly who, ran into the room, and I killed them. I think it was Turtle Bear. And right behind him came in Zal, and Zal saw the dead body. And I was like, oh no. And before I could even get that out, Indy Cat killed him. And then me and him just dipped out. And we were like, oh, that was awesome. It was like we almost got caught, but nah, you handled that great. That was awesome.
That was great.
But it's been deemed in our group that I apparently am a fearsome imposter, and if it's me and Zal as both imposters, then no one's gonna win. No one survives.
Yeah.
We're just
I can't
murderous
wait
rampage.
for that. I want to see how well I do as an imposter.
It's fun. It's fucking fun. Don't get caught going through vents.
Yeah.
That's how you get caught. Is you get caught going through vents. But yeah, man, it's a blast. It's absolute blast. So this game that we've been playing has gotten me in the mood, man. I've been listening to fucking Typo Negative, Priest, Zeromancer.
Yeah.
Rocking my goth music.
I figured you'd put on just the Queen of the Damn soundtrack.
Yeah, that too. That too. I love it. Love it. And the music in it. Now, okay, so this week we were talking about Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. And this is going to be part 1, but it's going to be a little different because I know Ryan's not digging this game. So next week, I'm going to do part 2 for this. And then the second segment will be, I'm going to run another little horror game or something for Ryan to check out this week. Or maybe a different genre if you wish. It's up to you, man, because I know you're not a huge fan of horror games. So
it's still...
Yeah, it'll be almost
season.
It'll be almost Halloween, man. By the next
it will
episode.
be, but I could throw on another horror game, I guess.
Yeah, I'll try to get you a good one. I might even just pick one for you. I don't know. We'll see.
I know we got Isolation, which is terrifying in every aspect of the game.
I could also throw you into Amnesia, which is considered one of the scariest games ever made.
Oh yeah. I don't know about that one.
Or I could always just give you Doom 3, and it's just like actiony horror.
Yeah,
so,
Doom. I'd be happy with Doom.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Steamy's feeling like.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me just read through some of this Wikipedia nonsense real quick right here. Oh, I was thinking maybe we should start switching up when we do our intros and just be like, "Good evening, welcome to the Steam Machine Podcast. My name's Dalton. How are you doing today? We're going to be talking about some video games."
I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that.
Good evening.
I can try.
Welcome to the Steam Machine. Come in. Have a seat.
We'll have to try to record a Halloween special since it is a Saturday this year.
Oh man. Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. We could totally do that. We should do that and talk about like our favorite horror movies or like slasher flicks or like just anything spooky that I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We can do that.
So, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is a 2004 action role-playing video game developed by Troika, I think is how you pronounce it. Troika Games.
Yeah.
And it was published by Activision for Microsoft Windows. Set in White Wolf Publishing's World of Darkness, which is a tabletop series that I would really like to get into. The game is based on White Wolf's role-playing game Vampire the Masquerade. And it follows a human who is killed and revived as a fledgling vampire. And we are going to get to that. And the game depicts the fledgling's journey through 21st century or early 21st century Los Angeles to uncover the truth behind a recently discovered relic that heralds the end of all vampires. This game is like, this game was cool and strange at the same time because it makes you cut from first person and third person a lot, depending on what you want to do.
That was one of the things that I didn't really like about the game.
It was very strange. It was like, man, why can't I just swing my axe in first person, or why can't I just shoot my gun in third person? You know, it was very strange. Now,
yeah,
I do want to point out, this game is a cult classic. It wasn't like reveled by a ton of people, because when this game was released, it was a broken fucking mess.
it was. And then I think another thing I read about it is Activision killed the studio like shortly after this game was released.
There is, and there's a joke about that in the game. They knew it was coming, so they're like, there's a dude that if you ask him about Troika Games, he gives you like a foreshadowing of what's going to happen to them, which I thought was hilarious. They're just like, we know it's coming, so we're just going to like let people find it in a little Easter egg.
killing that studio. I think they only had enough time to get one patch out, and that patch barely did anything to the fucking super buggy and super janky game.
So it's basically recommended that you don't play this game without the unofficial patch. Now there are two. Yeah. There is the normal patch, which is just fixes bugs and the resolution, lets you run it at modern resolutions and stuff. And then there's the plus patch, which adds in a bunch of cut content that was cut from the game, but people have gone in and fixed it and finished the code and things like that. I'm playing with the plus patch. I do believe that you're playing with the plus patch as well.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking interesting that people liked the game enough to fix it themselves. I mean, but then again, you know, you think about it, that's PC gaming. Like, look at the Elder Scrolls games. Look at Fallout. Yeah. Like, they always rely on fans to make those unofficial patches to fix the shit that they would never think of that would be broken, or they just don't give a fuck. One of the two.
They just don't give a fuck. They run out of time and they run out of money. They'll know that somebody out there will do it for free, and it will make the game better. And as long as people are playing the game with that fucking thing on it, they're still selling it. They're still making their money.
With as much money as they've made on Skyrim, Elder Scrolls 6 better be a polished fucking masterpiece.
No, it's gonna be a fucking polished turd.
It's gonna be a
it's
janky.
It's gonna be passable at first, but it's going to be,
I think,
so much better once people get their hands on it.
It's gonna be that well known and loved Bethesda jank, as I call it.
Yep.
So Bloodlines was developed by a 32-member team, which I thought was interesting. That's not a lot of people.
No, that's less than Batman, but that's still a ridiculously small team compared to the thousands of people they have working on Call of Duty or Fortnite.
Right. And they used Valve's Source engine, which, you know, would have been games like Counter-Strike Source, Half-Life Source, that they were all made with that Source engine. And it was also being used in Half-Life 2. And that was one of the things is when this game came out, it was competing with like Half-Life 2 and several other games. Yeah. And this game sold less than 80,000 copies during its initial release.
I believe it.
It says divided critics at the time. Although they praised the game's writing and the scale of choice, they criticized the technical flaws.
Yeah.
And then the studio was shut down in early 2005. But this game has gotten enough of a following over the years that there is a sequel coming out next year.
Interesting.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. And brother, I can't wait for it.
I know you can't.
You know me.
This was your RPG. Like, this is like the style of games you like to play.
And it's vampires. So, something that the listeners might not know about me. I got introduced to the whole like goth world, metal, all of that stuff through the movie Queen of the Damned. So I have like this little spot in my heart with Queen of the Damned wedged in there that Ryan gives me shit for, because he's like, the only thing good about that movie is the music. Which I won't argue. It's not the greatest acted movie in the world,
Yeah.
but it was my first, like, oh shit, these vampires are awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't see Lost Boys and stuff like that till much later.
Oh, yeah. I think my first introduction was either Dracula or The Lost Boys, and then their Interview with the Vampire was up there.
Interview with the Vampire is a great movie too.
Yeah.
Lestat, I just like Lestat's character, like, because I've read the books that series about Lestat. He is a really good character.
Yeah.
You know, so the problems that I have with Queen of the Damned since reading the books are it takes. So Queen of the Damned is the third book in the series, but there's a scene in the movie where Jessie opens this journal and she's reading Lestat's journal. And it's like a 15-minute sequence, maybe 10 minutes or so, and they cram the entirety of the second book, like cliff notes of the second book, into this scene. And I'm like, I want to see Netflix pick that up as a series and start with Interview with the Vampire and do them by seasons and go through. Because there's plenty. Like, I think it could really do well if they casted right. Like, they casted The Witcher perfectly. Everybody in that series played their parts perfectly.
Yeah.
Dracula, going back to vampires, that Dracula that me and you watched, that's the Netflix series, was cast perfectly.
The BBC Dracula, that was awesome.
That was the perfect telling of Dracula, in my opinion. So it can be done. You just gotta not try to make it an action movie of the year type thing and like take it for the story that it is, because there's a lot of story in Anne Rice books.
Yeah, for sure.
Which...
I know you got it around there somewhere.
It is around here somewhere. I'm trying to remember where I put it when I was cleaning up. It might be in my stack of comics out in the living room. But Ryan got me... Oh, no. What the hell? It's right here. For the people on video, Ryan got me this, which is mirrored. Hopefully it's not in the video, but Memnoch the Devil by Anne Rice. And... boom! Signature. My name's not Christine, but I will take it. I will be Christine. I am Christine. No, I could just say, like, hey, I got this signed, or Ryan got this signed. He just said, hey, will you make this out to a murderous car? She was like, yeah, sure.
That is good October joke. Good October joke.
Yeah, let's not go to a Blue October joke. Hate me today. Oh, God. Oh, early 2000s, man. That was a weird time for music. Or mid 2000s, whatever it was.
Anything from like late 90s through like 2010 almost. That was just a weird transition for music, as you say. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Cause
going from alternative grunge to fucking like new metal and that shit in the early 2000s, and then it just got into the post-hardcore scene took over for a while. The pop punk scene started taking over,
and then Kings of Leon, Cage the Elephant came out, and alternative music has sounded the same ever since.
Yeah, it's all that indie pop.
Yeah,
is what I would call it.
Yeah, like indie folk pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not bad. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite. You know.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's talk about Vampire the Masquerade. So, as far as I've gotten, how far did you get?
I am into Santa Monica. I think the mission the quest I left off on was I had to go smash up an art gallery or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that was a strange quest when I did it. So,
yeah.
You didn't get to see. Okay, so cool. I'll get to tell you about some stuff today then. I made it up until I was on my way to Chinatown, and yeah. I'm really not a ton further than you because I've just been like going around and doing little side quests and exploring.
Yeah.
Which is why I wanted to make this a two-parter, because I wanted to take my time and really enjoy the game and check out what it is, because I know the Plus patch added some stuff.
Man, if you're on your way to Chinatown, you're damn close to finishing the game already, apparently.
Oh yeah, if I were to hit the main story, then yeah. But I've like I said, I've got some side quests and stuff I still want to wrap up.
Yeah.
Character, because it's just character building and world building and giving me ideas for when I run a Vampire the Masquerade game.
Yeah.
I've already got like tabletop stories and stuff going in my dome, just like, oh, I need to get the book and I need to figure out how to play so I can explain to other people how to play, because it's a little different than D&D.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about okay, so when you start the game off, it asks you, do you want to answer some questions? And we will pick a race for you, or not. I'm sorry. We'll pick a clan for you, and or do you want to just skip that and create your own character? You chose answering questions, and I chose answering questions because you chose answering questions. So, I got a Tremere clan. You got Malkavian. I don't even know how. I
got Malkavian the first time around. All that save data got wiped out somehow on my game, and I had to restart.
So I had this issue. I was playing the game through the Steam button, right? Like going into Steam and click and play, and all my save data's in there. I loaded the game up from the EXE without Steam, and when I loaded it up, all my save data was gone.
Weird.
And I closed out, opened it back up through Steam, and all my save data was back. So maybe try opening it one way or the other and seeing if your save data recovers. But either way, even if you don't dive back into it. So you were a Malkavian. Now,
I was.
I don't know too much about all the clans because I haven't put a ton of time into this game as far as looking at them and stuff. But I do know that there are 7. There are the Bruja, the Toreador, the Malkavians, the Ventru, the Nosferatu, the Tremere, and Gangrel. Fun fact, I think this is where Gangrel got his name when he switched over to that character. Or no, I'm sorry, because he was in the 90s. Never mind.
Yeah.
But
no.
I'm not the video game. I mean, I think he got Gangrel from Vampire the Masquerade, because that's been around for a while.
Interesting.
Sorry, I should have clarified that when I was... yeah, like I started confusing myself for a second. I'm like, oh, wait, no, not the video game. I got Tremere. They are blood magic. They use blood magic and stuff. It's very powerful. Malkavians are batshit fucking nuts. So the whole thing
whole thing with
Malkavians...
They're not batshit, like they lose control of like what they're doing and shit like that. They just give you like drunk homeless person rambles as your dialogue text.
And as the game progresses, you'll start hearing voices, and
that's cool.
So they can... Playing a Malkavian is recommended for the second playthrough only because they have slight sight into the future. Like, they can see a bit into the future. So some of the dialogue options that you get to respond to people will be foreshadows that will spoil things. Like when you meet somebody and then you make a joke to them about something and then it turns out that that's true. It's because your dude already knows that.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. I would love, in the tabletop game, if we ever do it, you should play a Malkavian and just randomly just spout nonsense, but then you would know more.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't really know how to convey it correctly. I don't know. So you start off, you create your character, there's all kinds of different stats. If you want to be sneaky, if you want to be, like in my case, if you wanted to put some into your magic points.
Yeah.
Your combat. I highly recommend putting a little bit into melee and a little bit into guns. And definitely lockpicking. Definitely lockpicking.
Yeah.
And the computers are fun to dive into as well. One thing I do like about this game is that, the computers look like Apple II. With like, if I don't know how many computers you checked out, but like the lettering and stuff will be like purplish white, like the old ass computers were.
Yeah.
And you actually have to type. Like, it's like you have to input commands.
You do.
So it's like, do you want to go to home? You have to type home and hit enter. So I'm like, that's cool. It's like The
I
old
hit
school
like
computer
3 or
experience.
4 different computers, I think, on my playthrough.
I think you would. Yeah, you would probably would have hit your own in your apartment at the
Yeah.
point you got and gotten your emails and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
My second character creation on the game, because all my save data disappeared or whatever.
yeah.
I answered the questions the same exact way, but I ended up a Torador
Hmm.
instead of the Malkavian.
Interesting. Torador
Right.
is the one that I think Lestat would be
Probably.
because they are like the artsy. They really like
Yeah.
art, like that kind of stuff. So, and the game starts off, you are in bed with a lady, probably knocking some boots.
I wasn't. I was in bed with a guy.
Oh,
Because of course
you made a woman?
I play female.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so you're in bed with a person of the opposite sex. Then we'll put it that way, and the door busts open after some seductive noises and things that you hear, and she gets spiked in the fucking chest with a stake, and then you get staked in the heart.
Yeah, it was like the cheesiest cutscene I've ever seen. They're just like, and then you see these big ass stakes just fly across the room.
Oh yeah, dude. That's what I told you when we first started. I was like, you're gonna notice real quick that this game's from 2004. Like, I will say though, this game graphically looks good for a game that came out in 2004, but it's just its physics and stuff is where you can really tell, and the character motions and.
Yeah.
But they did good as far as like water reflections and things like that. It looks really great.
Yeah, they did.
So-
There were some things that were definitely great, and some things that were either underfunded or rushed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like that is the name of the game for this is like, underfunded and rushed. Bloodlines.
Yeah.
So you wake up and you're in like this auditorium and you're on your knees and the girl that you were or guy that you were just with is next to you. And in comes this little squirrely looking dude and he is
He's the
LaCroix.
prince.
Prince
Yeah.
LaCroix.
Yeah, put some respect on his name. He's a fucking prince. Like,
He's a little squirrely dude. So I was watching this, and I see like the weird characters in the crowd, and I'm looking at them trying to figure out like, okay, who's going to be a main character, who's just there for whatever. And your partner who sired you, because vampires have to sire somebody before they can become a vampire themselves, gets fucking executed right next to you, just dead, head chopped off. You're next. And this guy in the crowd stands up and goes, "This is fucking bullshit." And you're like, whoa. Later on, you find out that guy's name is Nines Rodriguez.
yeah.
But we'll get there. So, the prince is just immediately kind of taken aback, and he's like, all right, well, then you're not going to die. You're going to prove your worth, and don't make me regret my decision. And he sends you to Santa Monica to go, and I believe you had to...
Meet up with Mercurio.
Thank you. I couldn't remember his name. Yeah, you had to meet up with Mercurio. Now, when you come out, you meet a vampire named Jack.
Yeah.
I love Jack. I think he's hilarious. I am like not 100% sure. I don't know if you want to look this up real quick while I'm talking, but it sounds like he's voiced by the dude who does Bender. Like when he
Let's
talks,
see.
Joe DiMaggio or whatever his name is, John
Yeah.
DiMaggio. I think Joe DiMaggio was a fucking football player. But he's just like, hey kid, welcome. And you basically you talk to him and he realizes that you're a new vampire that was fucked up in there. He takes you to a back alley and he asks you, "Have you ever drank blood before?" Basically, and they're like, "No," and he's like, "Oh man, we're fucking popping a cherry here." He's like, "Listen, kid, blood, it's your new filet mignon, it's your new champagne, it's your new fucking heroin, kid. You're gonna love it." And he tells you about this dude in the alleyway who can't find his car, and you have to go over there, and this is where it introduces you to the feeding mechanic, which is not the most smooth mechanic in the world for a game. Like, it's cool going up and feeding on people, but if you don't hit that thing at the right time, you're going to drain them dry, which you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
Unless it's an enemy. Jack does explain that to you. He is like, innocents, you don't kill them, you'll lose some of your humanity. You don't want to lose your humanity. He said, if they're trying to kill you, drain them dry. Suck every bit of fucking blood you can out of them. Which I thought was pretty funny. So you go through the little tutorial section with him. You were introduced. There's a commotion, and it is the. Oh man, what?
It is John DiMaggio, by the way.
It is?
Yeah.
Fucking right. I knew it. Trying to remember what the name of that. God, I've been playing it all day.
What?
The Sabbat. God damn, I don't know why it took me. Yeah, the Sabbat started attacking the Camarilla and stuff. So Jack's like, man, I really wanted to spare you this shit for now, but then he kind of explains to you that the Sabbat are just like vampires that are monsters, basically. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They're vampires. They're more powerful than humans. They're going to kill and eat humans. They're going to do what the fuck they want. They don't abide by any kind of code. And the Camarilla is what Prince LaCroix is in charge of, and that is basically like vampire government.
Yeah.
And then you have, later on you'll find out that you have the Anarchs, which are against the Camarilla, but they also don't like the Sabbat either. And the Anarch... So, okay, full disclosure, I so far have sided with God, I can't talk. So far I really can't talk.
Yeah.
I have sided with Prince LaCroix. Why was that so hard for me to say? Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
I've sided with Prince LaCroix so far. Which I think I might have fucked up. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. So there's a scene where you have to go to the house of Alistair Grout. He is the Malkavian chief. He is in charge of all the Malkavians, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on your way out, you see Nines Rodriguez leaving the house. And I had spoke to him before this, so it was like, hey, man, what are you doing here? And he was like, you don't want to go in there, man. This place is fucked up. And then he's like, we should get out of here. And he leaves. So you go in there, and let me tell you something. Talk about an eccentric house. This Malkavian house, what the fuck? It was an entire maze. So when you walk in, you have to get through the door that's straight in front of you, but you have to go through a maze through the entire house to do all these different unlocking mechanisms to unlock that fucking door.
Yeah.
You end up getting through it, and you find Grout dead in the bed. And then you meet the Grunfeld Bach, and he's a vampire hunter. So like after he's like, I've come to kill Grout, and you're like, he's already dead in here. And the vampire hunter's like, fuck. All right, well then I shall kill you then. And he sets the house on fire. He's gonna burn the whole house down. So then you have to escape. Anyway, you end up getting back, and LaCroix's like, so what happened? You tell him that he's dead, and he's like, did you see anything? I was like, I saw Nines Rodriguez leaving when I showed up. Apparently, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Because when I went back to the last round, which is the bar that the Anarchs hang at, they were all super pissed at me. They didn't kill me. I was able to talk my way out of it.
Yeah.
Because this is one of those games that you can avoid violence a lot of times if you have a high charisma.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, they were not happy with me. Jack doesn't give a fuck. Jack hangs out at the Anarch's place, the guy who does the tutorial with you. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, kid, I sit on the fence. He's like, I don't side with anybody. But apparently, according to everyone, Jack's a bad motherfucker. Like, he's a super old, badass vampire.
Well, I believe it.
So I think it's pretty cool. So, you're basically an errand boy in this game at first. He's just, go here, do this, go here, do this. So you go meet Mercurio. And you're introduced to Mercurio of him. You see a guy bleeding out in the street crawling up some stairs.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, shit. So you go check it out. And you follow the blood trail to this room. And Mercurio's laying in there on the couch. And he's like, oh, fuck, kid. I'm fucking dying here. He's like, I need meds. Those fuckers, they ambushed me. They took the money and the fucking explosives.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out where. Now, this is interesting. This is a part that I thought was interesting. Okay, so he tells you, go get the stuff from the guys at the beach. So you head down to the beach, and when you walk out there, this girl just comes up to you, and she's like, upstairs in that house, there are the men you're looking for. And you're like, how the fuck do you know that? And she's like, I know things, basically. Just go. So if you talk to her after all of this is done, if you come back and talk to her, you can pay her like $20 and she'll predict your future.
Yeah.
And you can ask her a bunch of different questions. You ask her, how do I beat the game? And her response is, it doesn't matter if you beat the game or not. What matters is if you bought it. So I was like, piracy joke,
Yeah.
But if you ask her, who can I trust? She says, the man on the couch and the lone wolf. Everyone else be weary. So she tells you that you can trust Mercurio, and then you haven't met him yet, but that means you can trust Mercurio and Beckett. And Beckett is who they call the lone wolf, I believe, because he actually turns into a wolf. So Beckett is like a 300-year-old vampire historian, or he might be even older than that, but he said he's been studying vampire lore for 300 years.
Yeah.
And he's a very shady character. Like I've seen him twice. He just kind of shows up and talks to you for a little bit and then bails out, right? So ever since I heard that girl say that, I've been real sketchy about decisions I make with everyone, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can trust Jack, and that hurts my heart because Jack's awesome.
Yeah.
So you go up into the house and you kill everybody. You get your shit back. And you get some money. And then he also asked you if you could get anything for his pain. So you go to the medical clinic. And when you go into the medical clinic, the chick's like, you have to wait. You use your vampire power. She's like, okay, go ahead. So you go, and there's a lady in the first room laying there screaming for a doctor to help her. So you go in there and talk to her, and she's like, please go get the doctor. I'm dying. All right. So I go and tell the doctor, and the doctor flips the fuck out on me. He's like, hey, I've got a lot of fucking patients here, okay? There's a lot of fucking people that are hurt. This guy's got a fucking bullet in his head. And your chick's in there doing something. She could fucking wait, basically.
Yeah.
All right. You go back to the other room. Girl's not doing so hot. She's flipping out. You feed her your blood and save her, because vampire blood can heal humans. But now she later on, she becomes like your fledgling in a way. Like she's not sired, but she's like, she will do your bidding. Anything that you need, she'll do, type thing. So you save her. You end up having to sneak into the doctor's office, steal some morphine, take it back to Mercurio, give him the morphine, tell him everything's solved, and he asks you, hey man, please, when you go back and talk to Prince LaCroix, don't tell him I fucked up. He'll kill me. All right. So when I went back, I did not rat him out. I said everything went smooth.
Yeah.
Because of that, later on, he comes up to you when you're having to go out to this ship where there's the sarcophagus thing that is brought up, is out there on the ship, and you have to go check it out. You're walking down to the Santa Monica beach, and he shows up, and he's like, hey, man, you really saved my fucking ass. I'm all healed up. That fucking vampire blood really helps, and those morphine pills did the trick. He's like, I always help out a friend. You help me so I can help you. And you're like, all right, well, I might need some stuff for this trip. And he's like, all right, so you can then like he tells you, come see him in his apartment at any time. You can buy equipment from him. So if you need ammo, anything like that, or you need to sell some stuff, you can go to him in his apartment.
Yeah.
He's like, I can acquire things that people might need. He's like that boat over there for you to get to that ship. It's yours. So he's a very helpful character. I really recommend saving him instead of just letting that motherfucker die on the couch. Because you have the ability to be like, fuck you, you're an idiot. Why did you fuck up? I'm gonna go get this stuff. I hope you die.
Yeah, no, that's what I did.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, see, you'd have lost out on having somebody extra to buy some stuff from.
Yeah.
And he is also the character at the very end of the game. There's a dialogue option to ask him about Troika Games, and he will give you the foreshadowing to the company's failure. He's the one that does that. Also, real quick, there is an Easter egg in this game that I found absolutely hilarious. So I don't remember exactly where it is. I think it's when you meet Pisha in the abandoned hotel in downtown. But she tells you if you open and close a door a ton of times, or it might even be a message on one of the apartment answering machines. Anyway, you open a door, over and over and over and over and over, right? And then when you go outside, there's a dancing werewolf. Just there. It's like an Easter egg, right? So, you get to the very end of the game, and I know this because I read it, and I didn't read too much into the story, but I know at the end of the game you have a choice. To open the sarcophagus or don't open the sarcophagus. Right?
Yeah.
And for one, the chick who can see in the future, you ask her something and she says her answer is don't open it. With an exclamation point. Don't open it.
Yeah.
So, foreshadowing. Now, if you do the dancing werewolf Easter egg, when you get the choice to open the sarcophagus or don't open it, you get a third option that says, I've already seen the dancing werewolf. I just want to see the dancing werewolf again. And the dancing werewolf will appear and start dancing, and then the game ends. And that's the ending instead.
Oh my god. That's so dumb.
I was like, that's so ridiculous.
That's so dumb.
Oh, but fantastic. I love it. I love little dumb fucking humor jokes like that in games.
Yeah.
It's like in one of the Castlevania games when you're standing there and these stars in the background are making, it says watch out for that bat. And by the time you're like, what bat? You get hit by the bat and it kills you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's tremendous. So, you are, I've just been really getting into like, I got my headphones on. I don't have a podcast going. I got the atmosphere, and the music in this game is tremendous.
Yeah, the music is pretty good.
So you end up having to go to Club the Asylum.
Yeah.
And you hear things like, there's two sisters that run the asylum. It's Therese and Jeanette. Jeanette is a freak, we'll say. She's a vampire, still has sex with humans. Even though that's not supposed to happen, she still does it.
Yeah.
And then you have Therese, who is like uptight businesswoman. But they're twin sisters, right? So you go in there, and the first one you meet is Jeanette. And I'm not going to lie, she's fine. Like, I was like, if I met that chick in real life, I'd be attracted to her. She could bite my neck. That's fine. So I'm like, yeah, I know. Shake your head. So she starts talking to you, and she's just like, oh, basically just being erotic as fuck. And you tell her that, you need to talk to her sister. She's like, oh, she's upstairs. So you go upstairs, you meet Therese. The whole thing is you need her to call off this feud with Bertram, so this Bertram guy will show himself, so you can talk to him about getting to this warehouse to blow it up, right? That's the whole thing, is that you have to take these explosives to go blow up this Sabat warehouse. So Therese asks you to go to this. First of all, she's like, okay, I'll help you. But first, I need your help for something. She's like, you can prove your worth to me. I have a property that I need investigated. And I'm like, okay. She's like, it's a older hotel, and there's ghosts in it, and I need you to go in there and get something that was sentimental to the ghosts that can be used in an exorcism. All right. Cool. Let's do it. So I headed there. Had to go through the sewers to get to the area itself.
Yeah.
And man, that whole thing was really well put together. It freaked me out.
It was a little creepy.
Like, you have to go and get the keys from the outside storage room trailer, and one of the heavy machinery just drives into the trailer while you're into it.
Yeah.
So you get the key, you get out, you go into the hotel, and you start to develop this story where basically there was a wife and a husband and their 2 kids that went to this big hotel. It's basically The Shining in a way. A little creative, artistic creativity used, but it's basically The Shining. Is that the guy goes crazy because this girl has a locket, and he doesn't believe that she got the locket from her mom. He thinks it came from a secret admirer, and he gets obsessed with it. And she catches him in the bathroom, just staring at it. So he ends up killing both the kids, and then he kills her, and then kills himself and sets the fucking place on fire. All right.
Brutal.
Yeah. Absolutely brutal. So you're running through it, and you're seeing ghosts of that dude, and he's fucking bloody with an axe, and he's got his top hat type thing on, or gambler's cap, whatever you call it, and he's pretty freaky. But then he'll disappear, like lightning will flash, and he'll be there, and it'll flash again, and he's gone, and then you keep seeing the apparition of this lady. Well, the girl ghost is trying to help you. She's pointing you in the right direction. So you're going through this house, and it's like you go up the stairs, you fall through them, you see a woman run by, and then you look, and she's gone. It was really creepy, and they did good because, like I said, I had my headphones on, so you'd hear whispers like, "He's coming. Watch out." Like all this weird shit, and the atmosphere was so creepy that I was literally like, man, I feel like I'm playing Resident Evil again.
Yeah, a little bit.
But you end up, getting through it. There's I know one room, it goes completely dark, and when the lights come back on, there's "Get Out" is scratched into the wall. And there's fires that are set that you have to get around. And there's a part where you have to jump through this elevator shaft. And if you don't make it to the other side in time, the elevator will fall on you and you die.
Ugh.
So it's not hard. It's just you got to be quick. And once you do that, then it's not so bad. But you end up finding a locket. So you go back and you get to the club and you go upstairs or up the elevator where Therese and Jeanette are at. And Therese isn't there, but Jeanette's there. She's like, "What you got there?" Like, "Oh, it's this locket that your sister wants." She's like, "Oh, man, that's really pretty. I'll give it to her if you want me to." Yeah, sure. So you give it to her, and then she sends you, she says, "Hey, there's a rival vampire gang in town, basically, that's doing an art gallery, and I want you to go fuck it up." And you're like, "Yes, anything for you, Jeanette." So that's my character was literally like, "Oh, yeah, totally anything you want. Like, whatever you want, dear." So you go to the art gallery. You said this is where you had gotten up to. You go in there, you destroy it. It summons this blood protection creature thing that you have to fight. Kill it. You go back to the asylum. You go up. Therese is in there, and she is fucking livid. She starts screaming at you. "How could you give that locket to her? Do you want to know what that bitch did with it? She threw it into the fucking Atlantic." She's like, "She threw it out into the fucking ocean. Are you kidding me?" She's like, "What the fuck? Now I can't do it. Now that property's fucking worthless because I can't get rid of the ghosts." And you're trying. Your dude's dialogue is like, "I'm sorry, but," and then she'll just cut you off and just keep grilling you. And she says, "Okay, here. I arranged for her to meet with me at the diner across the street. I said some things in the heat of the moment that I would like to apologize for, but I'm too busy to go over there. I need you to go over there and tell her that I'm not going to kill her or anything like that. Everything will be fine." So you go into the diner, and you walk to the back booth where it tells you to, and all of a sudden everybody in the diner starts shooting at you. And you're like, "What?" So you're killing people and having to go through and take out everything. I was like, what the fuck? So the phone starts ringing. You answer the phone. It's Jeanette. She's like, oh my God, you have to come back to the asylum. I'm locked in the bathroom. Therese has a gun. She's trying to kill me. You're like, she's like, it was a setup. She sent you there to die. But since you're answering, I see that you handled it. I need you to come up here and save me, though. Please, hurry. Okay, so you go back across the street to the asylum. When I walked out, there were cops everywhere trying to kill me.
Yeah.
So I had to kill a bunch of cops, which took me a few tries, and then went back up into the asylum.
What's your humanity points at, and what's your masquerade points at?
So my humanity, I'm not sure. I haven't checked. I was at 2 strikes. I had 2 masquerades gone, but I have since earned those back doing other quests.
Okay.
But yeah, I was getting worried because like I got 2 strikes real early on, and I was like, oh fuck, if you lose all those, game over.
Yeah.
So you go back to the asylum. You go up the elevator, and Therese is standing there with a gun pointed at the bathroom. And then she turns and she looks at you, and all of a sudden you're talking to Therese and Jeanette. And you're like, all right, so they're going back and forth and they're arguing, and you're trying to talk up through it, right? So Jeanette starts being like, you were always Daddy's favorite. That's why he fucking preferred you over me. She's like, you always did everything he wanted to. You don't think I heard that late at night when he would come into your room and lay down next to you? She's like, I heard it all fucking night long. And Teresa's like, don't you fucking bring that up, yada, yada, yada. And she's like, that's why you killed him, isn't it? Because you couldn't take it. Because you came home one night and he was laying in bed with me, and you couldn't fucking handle it. So you went and got a shotgun and blew his fucking brains all over the wall. And she's like, don't you fucking talk about that, you stupid bitch. He didn't love you. Shut up, take that back. Dude, it is hardcore. Like this whole conversation is hardcore. So then you're like trying to get the gun away from Therese, and you guys are struggling, and the gun goes off. And then you look up and you're looking at her. And half her face is like Therese, and the other half of her face is like Jeanette. She's the same fucking person with a split personality.
Oh, that's funny.
That's why you never saw them in the room together. And she's like, you tell anybody about this and I'll kill you. Get the fuck out of here. You're like, holy shit, dude. Like, it was a well-written thing. Like, at the end of it, I was like, wow, I was not expecting that in the slightest.
Yeah.
Like, it came out of nowhere. That was the point where I was like, all right, I want to do some side quests, because that was a main quest, but kind of I'm like, I want to see what this game's got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know. Based on what you've been telling me so far through your playthrough, you're really into this game. Like,
dude, I really am. I really like it a lot. Going back and doing some more stuff for Prince LaCroix, you have to go get on that boat. You have to go check out the sarcophagus, and it's like this boat was pulled into harbor because it had just gone AWOL, and they found it.
yeah.
You go and you find out all of the crew were dead. Every one of the crew members were slaughtered, and the sarcophagus looks like it was opened from the inside. With bloody handprints. So you go back and you tell Prince LaCroix that, and he's like, alright, fuck. At this point, I met this fucking dude who looked like, what was Neo's, in the Matrix, who was the guy that, Morpheus, that's his name, right? Morpheus. So I meet a guy who's a lot like him, and his name is escaping me right off the hand. I know it starts with an M, but he is like the leader of the Tremere clan, right? And he sends you to help figure out what is going on. Like with when you're in downtown, I think it is, there are like people around with hazmat suits on and stuff. And he wants you to figure out what the hell is going on with this plague.
Yeah.
So you go and talk to this chick in the last round. This is where I found out that I had fucked up. Because when I went in there to talk to her about this quest, she's like, you fucking sold out 9s to LaCroix, you son of a bitch. And I was like, I mean, I think I saw him coming out of there. He was acting very sketchy. It might have.
No.
I mean, I don't know if there's shapeshifters in this game, but I'm starting to wonder. So the fucking chick's like, "Fuck you. What do you want?" And I was like, "Well, I'm trying to figure out what's going on." The Tremere guy said that y'all might be the cause of it, and she's like, "What the fuck?" She's like, "Listen, this plague thing going on." She's like, "Vampires can't get sick. But vampires can be infected. It doesn't affect them, but it'll infect them. And they feed on people. So when they bite people, those people get sick. They infect other people. Soon, there's a whole fucking problem, and vampires have nobody to feed on anymore."
Yeah.
You know? So she's like, "No, we need to solve this. We need to find the plague bearer and kill them." So you have to go to this apartment building and sneak up and talk to this guy, Paul, I believe is his name, who was one of the guys who was a human but would do missions for the vampires and stuff in exchange for him being able to drink some of the vampire blood. I think like their grunts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you go to his apartment, you sneak up in there. He's dead in his apartment. He's got a message on his answering machine where you got to go up. The chick from upstairs is calling to check on him. She misses him. You go upstairs, get into her apartment. I'm pretty sure she's a hooker. From what I gathered, she was talking about her clientele, and that she was sick. She'd gotten sick after she went to visit this one girl in this other building who was a high dollar client, and she said she's been sick ever since. And like all of her friends that have gone to visit and do things at this lady's house her friends are also sick. So I don't know what dialogue choices I picked, but like the walkthrough that I'm using said, if you don't tell her that Paul is dead, you'll gain humanity. I had one choice at the end. Paul's taking a dirt nap, and you will be too soon. Or you will be soon too. And she was like, "Oh my God." And then my next choice was, "Rest in hell, bitch." And she fucking dies. And I was like, oh, all right. I guess my character's kind of a dickhead.
Oh my God.
So from her, you go and talk to you kill them and you go back and talk to the girl at the bar.